All right, Ryan, DIY and 4D. Hope you're having a blessed day out there. And now we're going to get into this 27-foot fifth wheel, the roof leak. So, dear client Bonnie, I know Bonnie, you're watching this video, so here you go. So the first thing we did was take the HVAC down, do some inspection. We found water on the actual unit cover, and it was collecting on the inside there. Next thing we do, of course, is just to see how everything is on level, both horizontally and then on the lengthways. So it's fine. You can go ahead and now be able to do some testing. What we found out through this is it's about probably an inch slope inward towards the unit, and then about a half inch on the other side. One side was longer than the other as far as where the unit AC unit is. So after taking it all apart and then putting a structural support beam, we were pretty close on that estimation. That's, if you'll see a little metal, those are office beams for units. Those are great to do internally as well, because you can now see that gap as well. And then you'll see some videos coming up here, so I'll remain quiet when we get to it. But after that beam's in, then you have a pretty good plan of attack on your structural support beam of what you need to do. And then now we're safe to work and don't have to worry about any of the other things. So that went well as far as inspection.
All right, Ryan, DIY and 4D. Hope you're having a blessed one out there.
Ooh,
so on
man.
This project here, you'd know the thickness on your paneling just by, I mean, in this case here, we knew with the HVAC what it was. But the reason for this vid is this guy here. So we found ballpark of where we thought the wire.
Yeah, the runners.
So we cut
the electric runners.
But on your skill saw, just set that. See, I'm gonna set my skill saw for
maybe a half inch.
Just a tad bit over that.
So those structural beams are really 2.5
inches.
inches.
Tack those lines. My spacing
You usually
on
tack
there.
them.
So there you go, right
top.
there.
That gives you
so
some
my
room.
spacing was probably 1.5 inches, right? So these lines are tacked, which would have been standard. You still could have had a loose
Not all the
line
time, though.
in there and clipped it. So of course that could have happened. Ideally, I would have stopped in here anyways, or ballpark, and then worked my way into that. So what we're doing on this project is setting this bow to be able to be a 1/4 inch or so up, and then on here
on the turtle
we wanted to work our way in to get our beam, but we don't want to clip any lines or anything like that, so we're safe. These are our lines here.
That's for sure.
We know that
Don't
we
want to
had
work
2
harder than you have
inches,
to.
2.5 inches to the ceiling, and it gets a little bit thinner as you get in close to there. So that's what we're basically at. So we had a good idea of what it was.
Yeah, so that whole project went really well. So no clip lines or anything like that. You had 3 spots to make the cutouts for your beam.
Great tool.
All right, so it's a great tool, Chicago Electric. I bought that like 10 years ago. It's crazy.
Obviously, like,
but the oscillating tool, good for baseboards. This little project too for 2 spots had the cabinets. You'd not be able to get in there.
We have a super
and that paneling is pretty tough. I mean, it's not
no more than
just easy stuff you're going to cut with a knife.
From there to there. So there's no way to get to that frame in there without that tool. So I wanted to show you that first, as far as the usefulness of it.
Structurally, the unit's really solid.
The sideboards,
I mean, those are
1x3s.
I think it was 1990 on the unit.
On there. So without
no
that
water
tool,
damage on the
probably
sides.
Unsuccessful, at least on that side. And then there's your runners. So we were able to do section by section. We ran our skill saw till about right here on this guy, till just shy of
You're
that
best
runner
off
there.
like 2 feet in the center.
So coming in
so
this
you
little
can start
blind,
reaching.
but my experience
Typically
on it
that's
so
how it
far
works.
is you'd have at least 2 runners on both sides of the 5th wheel. And then we knew the HVAC would have 1, I didn't know there'd be 2, but these guys are safe, no clips. There's your runner there, which typically is how it goes. So you have 2 sets of runners. By runners, it means these are all power or ground or neutral. And so, you don't know, 10 or 12 there, none all the way back in there on that side. And then you just have your HVAC is the lines in here, or there's 2 runners. Excuse me. Originally this had I'm trying to think if they had a vent over there, because the HVAC has 1. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if
so they're the
that's
ones for
to
all the
support
community lines,
the rest of
community
the
outlets
community. That's
down
probably
in the
what it is.
bedroom
So
back there.
that is a
Probably
series
like
community
4 or 5 outlets. The
12
bathroom
that
too is
runs
over
all the
there.
way to the bedroom, and
So
then
they'll run
one
all those,
for your
what they
HVAC.
call just a community line.
So we kind of thought that that's how it would go. Wasn't sure, but so far so good. Safe to sound that all those wires are safe. And now we
Yeah,
get our
so
beam in,
that went really
start
well.
working the other
Didn't
way.
have to do more work.
All
Now
right,
we're
my
about to get
DIY
into the
4D.
structural beam
There's your product review
of
on
how
Chicago
the
Electric.
engineering went for that.
Very useful.
So praise the Lord for the Holy Spirit, great carpenter. So we have some brackets that we use. Now those go into the actual wall and roof main frame 1x3s. We cut out our sections for the runners. And then overall, really what we have here is coming up is a 2x4 structural beam that goes across. And then there's a block that was custom made to cistern that dead center where that unit is. There's a block that goes to the original 1x3, and then now that 2x4, once it's jacked up, it's going to be able to be now on that 2x4. So when it's screwed in, bolted in, now that unit's solid, it's not going to sag at all. So we're back to the original design plus 1/4 inch on the top, and that's perfect. You know, you give 1/4 of an inch now slope. Original design was probably close to that. Okay, so now we're back on the roof. You got a little antenna over there, you'll see it. Right now I'm just showing a little shot.
All right, we're just inspecting, be able to show you a little bit too, Bonnie. There's the little puddle at the back. There's another one at the front. The front one, not so, I mean, obviously we can tighten it up a little bit more, but that type of water collection, you know, we can do a little bit, like I said, as far as self-leveling to help it. But overall, it's going to collect here, eventually evaporate. So I'll suggest at that point that we just need 10 days to clear. So back to here, I'll do the 10 days in a second. I wanted to show you. Right now it's sloped really well. It'll kind of puddle in the center here.
Center.
That's what it would do. And then over on this side, on this vent, it'll puddle right there. So there's really 3 spots that it'll puddle now. Right in the center there, and then towards the end, and then you can't see it at the front. Other than that, those are the spots that, you know, it will puddle. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the beam on the inside and come back and put lap sealant, clean up that whole frame, make sure it's solid. Right now it is set the way it should be as far as back to the original. That little item that's over to the right of the AC unit, need to put a cover over it, something.
Yeah, we put a cover over it for you.
Cover here. Eventually water will find some.
We cut that little antenna metal on the inside that you needed,
cover for that,
and we put a cover, plastic cover over it, and sealed it.
Lap sealant all around the actual unit itself.
Good 1.5-inch beam all the way around
And then now
the
it's
unit.
good. And then
Except
same thing
for the
over
front
here.
or the
Kind of
condensation
self-leveling
area where
epoxy rubber.
drip off.
After we put all the way around, needs the eternal tape all the way around, and then a couple coats and you're good. We just need 10 days.
Yeah, it was really thin on the coats. You'll see one here coming up at the end. I was not impressed on 2 little sections, so it needs at least 2 or 3 more coats. These are the tools you need. Through the roof, which is really your high-end lap sealant. That's a super strong. Then we had a little bit to secure of the other stuff. You have both the rubber flex, the eternal tape, even the liquid nails for the unit itself underneath it. And so overall, when we cover that, like I said, and then you're going to see some photos of the work that's on top, and we even secured the actual top cover as well. So overall, the work that was done, it should definitely hold. That's a fantastic eternal tape.
Okay, so on the unit itself, it is definitely lacking because of what had happened on the bow. Some extra support. So what we wanted,
that's the liquid nail to help.
It with,
you know, when
which will dry up.
Your renter's walking around, it'll shake a little bit. So
help it to
you want that right there to help bridge a little support. That'll harden up a little bit, and then you come back around afterwards and put all the clear lap sealant. So when it does cure, That'll give it a little bit of a bridge, and it won't ruin that front splash
From
guard.
there, by design, it would.
If you didn't do that, it will eventually kind of rattle a little bit. They walk around on the inside.
That's where it would, by design, go. So
yeah, so both sides got that underneath it, that frame. So you had about really overall 3/16, 4/16 as far as that. That's the end. And then on this side here, you're about 9/16 total, and then it drops down after we removed the support beam. There's what it looks like afterwards. You had the lap sealant and the stop leak all the way around it, which is fantastic. Then there's this one section coming up right now that I said it bubbled yesterday. It was warm, so that's actually a part of that spot where it came in. There's actually like a pinhole leak in there, and when it bubbled yesterday, which I'm glad it did, that really exposed it. So we were not clear. If it didn't bubble yesterday, there would have been a chance for that to still leak. So we came back, treated that, and then put the eternal tape on, and then we're able to seal everything up and take up. There's that splash guard I was telling you on the front that originally we weren't sure if it had, but it did. So it got treated all the way in there, and now the water will be diverted and run through back to this little spray. This stuff here that's coming up in this little picture is really just fantastic all the way around. Then you do the eternal tape, and that's an extra. So hey, we covered it back up. That's our vid on all that work, Ryan DIY in 4D. I hope that you enjoyed that video, and it was a pleasure to work with one of the best clients on the planet, Bonnie Crable. All right, take care, be blessed, bye.